catching, soul harvesting unit.
On the moon.
Moon.
Yeah.
Don't go to the light.
Yes, I hear that all the time too.
Okay.
It's very difficult not to, isn't it, though?
Yeah. Yesterday you said, don't go to the light.
No. It's false light. It's trick.
Okay, trick. So when someone dies and sees the tunnel,
Yes.
then what to do?
Go straight to your heart. Close your eyes if you can. Or
But if you don't have the body, how can you have feelings of the heart level?
just because you don't have physical body, you still have the understanding that you had a body. Just because somebody told me one time, death is no cure for ignorance. So just because you die doesn't mean that. That has a double meaning. The first meaning of that is if when you were alive you were doing this, that, and the other, and that wasn't so good, that doesn't mean that when you die you're all of a sudden going to be enlightened and know everything. So it's not a cure for ignorance in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, when you die, you're still very, very, very attached to the 3D world. And so, you very well still will have the feelings of a body. You may not feel the pain or any of that, but you will still have it. But the energy fields that run from here to here are still there. So you can always, the heart is sort of God source. So you can always go there.
Mm-hmm.
So you go there.
Okay. And let's go back to the duality and protection. Many people teach how to protect themselves from outside attacks.
Mm.
But when you have the idea of protection, it means that you have external enemy. It's like duality. It's also creating opposition. So isn't it better to have the idea of unity?
Okay, I'm not quite sure you understand the question. Can you ask me again, please?
Yeah, some people are attacked and the others are not attacked.
Uh-huh.
And those
Who is not attacked? Everybody is attacked.
Everybody.
Yeah. It's a war on the human heart, on the human being, so everybody's attacked.
But if someone is in his or her heart totally, like enlightened being.
There isn't one.
No?
No.
So everybody has to protect.
Yes. Yeah.
Even after leaving the body?
When? At what point? Give me an example of when you're leaving the body.
When you...
You mean death?
Death, yeah.
Okay. Death, death is what?
Transition to another dimension.
Yeah. So you're transitioning to. Do you think that the dimension that you transition to is all love, light, and free and happiness?
Depending on who you are.
No. It isn't. No. The war continues there too.
Uh-huh.
3D is anchoring down the rest, and until it is dealt with here, and until this is fixed. It's causing trouble for the other higher frequencies too. That's why the higher vibrational beings are incarnating down here to help, because it's been going on too long now. It's really, really been going on so long that people are not realizing it's so in your face. It's so clearly in your face. And that people are still not realizing that it's going on, that pedophilia is becoming acceptable on television, that they're inverting sexuality, that they're emasculating men, that they're masculizing females. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious, and it disgusts me that people are still not paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of boring that this nonsense prevails.
Yes.
And also...
I think boring is a very, very lightweight term for what I feel.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that knowing all this, I decide I quit from this game. I want to leave this game.
You can't.
So, who decides if I can leave it or not? Don't I have free will?
No. You have the illusion of free will. They made you think you have it, but you don't.
But this planet is the planet of free will.
No, it's not.
No?
No.
What about those enlightened masters?
Hmm.
Haven't they...
The enlightened masters you're talking about, like the yogis, etc., etc., just have they serve. So they're here helping others who are still watching soap operas on television and eating cheeseburgers. So they're here to help them. They have a mastery of the 4D, so they can do a lot of work in 4D. But they are far from able to leave. Excuse me. They're far from being able to leave because you can't leave until this is fixed.
How would you describe the solution for this game to be finished? The game goes on.
Well, it has been going on because we're stuck in a time loop and we're looping over and over again. And I said before, and I said in the speech, that there's a window opening that's now. And so we have an opportunity to break out of it. We have an opportunity now. This is a repeat of what happened 13,000 years ago.
Yes.
When we lost in Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the priests, I was part of the priesthood then, although I was working also with this to find out what was going on with the scientists, and then bringing back information to the priesthoods so we could find out what they were doing. But when the cataclysm happened 13,000 years ago, my group went underground and went into the inner earth, and we stayed there for a very long time. And then we came out again in Egyptian times, and then I was who I was in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
I remember multiple lifetimes that I've had.
Okay, so you said we have the opportunity now.
Yeah.
What should we do to fulfill this opportunity, not to waste?
What we do is what we're doing. Speaking, doing conferences, but we need a television outlet. I need to get onto so that it can get out to a bigger audience, because I know that the people who are drawn to listen to what I'm saying are the ones who were doing this work back then as well, and they'll remember. And then remember, they have also encoded into their DNA implants in their DNA to wake them up at certain times. Mm-hmm. So that through phonetics, sounds in my voice and in others' voices too will then spark that to wake up, so then they know what to do, because there's no time left. This year is the year they're going to bring out this particular being. They've already done it.
You mean Lucifer?
You can use that word.
Okay, what for? To continue the cycle?
To rule.
To rule? To have the fascist system?
No, not fascist. No. It's sort of more of like an anarchistic, debauched, vile system. Mm-hmm. They're going to destroy the temple in Jerusalem, rebuild it, and he will sit on the throne there.
And for the New World Order?
Yes.
And maybe the last question. What happened that you woke up and realized that...
Okay. I always knew. I always sort of knew, even when I was little. I always knew, because strange things were always happening to me, and I always, just from the beginning, I would be in strange laboratories with people with lab coats asking me to do tests. Do this. I've had experiences with working, doing with. They use me as a breeder to breed, to create children, and then they would have me play with the children so that the children would become more human. Because if they're always brought up with, sentient, non-emotional entities, they won't be able to fit into society. So that they would take me. What could you understand?
So the mothers were not human.
The mothers weren't even that they were created. So the sperm and the ovum were put together and then built, like building blocks. No mother. With me?
Kind of.
Which part don't you understand? You can build a child without a mother.
Just synthetic.
Well, yes, semi-synthetic, because it's still sperm and egg. So there's
and the fluid, the proper.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the mother is used to nurture, and sometimes the father. They try out every different type of possible one to see what they can do. I can only speak from my experience, and so for me, I had one particular one was a little Asian boy, and I spent a number of years going to see him and teaching him telekinetic abilities. I would move blocks into different shapes, and then he would look and smile at me and then copy me. And so that we would do hours and hours and hours and hours like that. Then they would take me in a lot of laboratory work, lots of lab work, hooking me up to things, and testing. I don't know if it's IQ. I don't know. I know that they do IQ tests, but IQ is so nothing really. Intelligent quotient means very little. But they did that, and they do other tests as well. And so then they would give me they would explain to me what they meant and why they did that, and what the results were, and why they needed to use me, and because I have a creator energy, I have a creator specific gene inside of me which allows me to create physical reality very fast. So they hijacked a lot of my abilities and made me build things that I didn't want to do, that I didn't want to build.
How do you mentally move things?
How do you do it?
Yeah.
You would connect with the energetic signature of with the thing itself, and then you would do it that way.
So also you can kill people.
Yes.
From distance this way.
Yes.
Just doing something inside the body.
Yes. Yes.
Some of the super soldiers are specialists.
They try and do it to me all the time. They try and raise my heartbeat up, try and give me a heart attack all the time, and they try and do black magic on me all the time. It's funny, really, because the cheap ones that try and do it think that they have these abilities. They do voodoo. They make voodoo dolls too, and they try and pull pins from voodoo dolls, and they're so low down. They think that they're like a lot more powerful than they are. And if somebody tries to do black magic on me, I get images in my head with it hours beforehand. So I'm shown that it's going to happen. So I immediately defend the parts of my body or anything.
Do you send it back to them?
I mirror it. I mirror it back to them.